We're going to move on, though, to a game with some big implications this weekend as, Brandon, it's finally here. After all this time, after all this talk, the game that we have been looking forward to in the Big Ten is finally here. The Michigan Wolverines going into the Horseshoe in Columbus to play the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I say this one has big implications because not only does the winner go to the Big Ten title game, but the winner keeps their college playoff hopes alive.
Yeah, they absolutely do. This is huge. I'm actually surprised that this game is at 11 a.m. on ABC. I thought this would have been like the nightcapper on ESPN, but it's not. But no, this is huge. This game is really, really big because, like you said, the winner, it is really win or go home here. It truly is, because if Ohio State is to lose this game, they are cooked. They're cooked. If Michigan is to lose this game,
they've got a chance.
They have a chance. The game is much bigger for Ohio State.
I'm going to agree with you, but I am going to disagree with you on one thing. Whoever loses is cooked. No matter who wins is cooked. And we're recording this on Monday, so it's a little bit difficult to see how the college football playoff shakeup is going to happen this week. But I don't think there's much change this week, all because most of the teams won. With Ohio State being at 2, the interesting thing will be if Ohio State wins, they would stay at 2. Obviously, Michigan would fall out of the top 4. But if Penn State beats Michigan State, Penn State would go to the Big Ten title game. Ohio State wouldn't. And it would become one of those things of, would the winner of this game, if it is Ohio State, is there a chance that the winner of this game doesn't go to the college football playoff? And the only way that would happen is if Ohio State wins, doesn't play for the conference title, and then doesn't go to the college football playoff. Like, is that a chance? Like, in your head,
if Ohio State wins and doesn't play for the conference title,
because how the tiebreakers work is, if Michigan wins, Michigan gets in. They're going to play for the Big Ten title game. If Ohio State wins, because they lost to Penn State, they would need Michigan State to beat Penn State. So there is a chance that Penn State wins at home against Michigan State. Ohio State, who's ranked higher, wins against Michigan, and Penn State gets the tiebreaker and plays for the Big Ten title game over Ohio State.
Ricky, I'll tell you what, that really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, because I would still look at it as it is in most other sports. When you have the better overall record, you win. You do better. You go farther.
That's how it usually works.
That really actually confuses the heck out of me. But I think that that certainly puts more intensity. I think on it. Well, I think it just puts more. I still think it puts more intensity on Ohio State. Well, I think it puts more pressure on Ohio State to win this game, because if they don't win, there is nothing left for them.
Well, and the reason why I say, when I said I disagreed with you, that both teams, if they lose, are cooked, because Michigan, it's going to be interesting because Michigan would then have 2 losses in the conference after they lost earlier this year as well. They would look at it as, okay, if we lose, there's a chance. If Ohio State wins, they're at number 2. They're going to be solidified in a top 4. And if Penn State goes on wins, then goes to the Big Ten title game, and they win, well, fuck it. If it's a Penn State Wisconsin battle for the Big Ten title, it wouldn't matter who would win that game. There's a possibility that with an Ohio State win, we could be set up for Team A, Team B, and then 2 teams from the Big Ten in the college football playoff. that could happen, because the thing that's going to be very interesting is, and I'll throw this question at you. I'm going to throw this at you. You are now on the committee, Brandon. Congratulations. I have appointed you to the College Football Playoff Committee. Congratulations.
Not a place I think I want to be right now.
Here's your decision that you have to make. Ohio State wins. They are number 2. They win, but they don't play for their conference championship. Let's say at this point Penn State beats Wisconsin, because it really doesn't matter who wins that game, but we'll just say Penn State. You as a committee member, if Washington, Alabama, Clemson, and Oklahoma all won their conference championships, you have those 4 teams plus Ohio State plus Penn State. Do you put 2 Big Ten teams in? And if you do, who are the other 2 that get in out of the 4 Power 5s out of Clemson, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Washington? That's the situation we're going to be in.
If you end up in that situation, and Oklahoma does not have a conference loss, Oklahoma's going to find their way in there.
They got to be in there, right? Because they'd be undefeated in conference.
I'd put them in there if I was on the committee. And this situation happened the way that we just talked about. I would have Oklahoma in there.
So Oklahoma would be in.
Oklahoma would be in. Alabama would be in.
That's 2.
Oklahoma and Alabama.
Ohio State's the tricky one, because they would be number 2. They would have beaten Michigan, but then they would have had a week off. So does that week off, do they get penalized for that? Do they get penalized because they lost 1 game and didn't get a chance to play for the conference title? That's going to be the decision that we make. So you have Oklahoma and you have Alabama. 2 good choices. One's undefeated in conference, one's undefeated overall if we say they win out.
Possibly Clemson. So there's 3.
So there's 3, and then really it's Ohio State or Penn State. Do you take the conference championship? The conference championship or the better record? It's hard. Am I wrong?
For me, I would probably go with the
better record.
Yes,
that's what you want to lean to.
No, it's not. So I want to go with the conference championship.
So you put Penn State in. See me, I'm on the other side, to where I think that this Michigan State-Ohio State game doesn't just have implications on the Big Ten. It has implications on every single Power 5 team in the country. Because you look at them right now, the ones that we're going to be looking at for the college football playoff at the end of the year. Alabama, if they win out, pretty safe bet that they're going to be in. I would say Clemson's pretty safe too if they win out. So to me, those are 2 that are like, okay, if you win out, you're pretty safe. Washington and Oklahoma, I would think that they should be rooting. And I talked to Sean about this today, because he is all worried. He is sweating. He is panties in a jumble over this game, because he's sitting there going, well, fuck it, Washington's not going to be in the playoff. He's like, fuck it, they're not going to get in, because I think he believes that Ohio State's going to win the game. But if you're a Husky or a Sooner fan, you're rooting for Michigan to win out, because if Michigan wins out, Ohio State's out, Penn State's out, they're not even in the discussion. So then you got 3 teams, Alabama, Michigan, Clemson, and then you can sit there and go, okay, take your pick. Take your pick. Conference title game or undefeated in the Big 12 regular season. Then it's like, okay, I can deal with that. But if Ohio State wins, I think you got to put both in. If Ohio State and Penn State win, and Penn State win, actually no, if Ohio State and Penn State win, I think you get 2 Big Ten teams no matter what. Because I think either Wisconsin or Penn State, the 2 that would be playing in the Big Ten title game, would be good enough to be in. So I think if Ohio State wins and Alabama and Clemson win out, I think the college football playoff is Alabama, Clemson, Penn State or Wisconsin, Ohio State. You can't to me, you cannot penalize Ohio State for winning this game just because they lost one game and can't play for the conference title. This is going and this brings up the conversation of every single year since we've had this thing. It's gotten crazier and crazier.
Well, then where does Oklahoma fall then? If they did well and they win out, where does that put them then?
5. I'd put them first one out. I would put them first one out. I would put Washington at 6. Yeah, that's how I would do it. I would have Alabama 1, Clemson 2, and this is assuming that Alabama, Clemson, Washington, and Oklahoma win out. I would have Alabama 1, Clemson 2. I would have the Big Ten winner, so either Penn State or Wisconsin, whoever wins that game, at 3 because of the conference championship, and then Ohio State. And the reason...
So you don't even... So you're not even having Michigan finding a way in there.
Michigan would be probably 8. Michigan would be 7 no matter what. Michigan would be 7.
This is if Michigan loses.
Mm-hmm. Because I think Michigan with 2 losses, there's no way they'd be ranked above Washington or Oklahoma. And here's a thing I just thought about in my head that is making me go even crazier. And I don't want to say it, but I'm going to because you guys know how I am. I'm going to change it. If Penn State's the hypothetical winner, then we have 2 teams in the college football playoff. Because if Ohio State beats Michigan and is 11-1 and 8-1 in the conference, I think that Penn State with a conference title and a win over Ohio State, who would be a playoff team to me, is better than Washington, better than Oklahoma. If Wisconsin wins, though, then I would lean towards not having 2 Big Ten teams in, because I look at their schedule and they would have lost to both Michigan and Ohio State. So to me, if Wisconsin wins the Big Ten championship over Penn State, then I would go Alabama, Clemson, Washington or Oklahoma, take your pick, and then Ohio State. If Penn State would win over Wisconsin, I'd have Alabama, Clemson, Penn State, Ohio State. And that's a mouthful. That is a mouthful to think about. This game is going to have, and the key word for this segment, Brandon, implications. Because this one game is going to make everything muddy. The cleanest situation we have, Michigan wins. It's the cleanest situation we have. What I predicted at the beginning of the season is the cleanest situation. It's the cleanest one. Otherwise, we get the whole Mad Hatter situation that's been going on in my head. It's like ping pong balls bouncing around in there, thinking about everything that we could see. But at the end of the day, I'll ask you the easiest question. Who wins this game, Michigan or Ohio State?
Michigan. I just made it really easy for you.
Yeah, I can't go against my prediction. I cannot. I can't go against my prediction from the beginning of the season. Michigan is going to win this game on the road at Ohio State. Can we move on? Can I clear my brain a little bit, Brandon? Is it okay? Do you think we've touched enough on Michigan, Ohio State?
A little bit.
Okay.
We touched a little bit on there.
I'm gonna clear my brain, but before I do, I gotta ask you guys. Let us know down below what you guys think. What's gonna happen? What do you think? Based on your prediction for this game, how would it affect your college football? And I want you guys. I'm gonna ask you for this one. Get a little specific on me. Get a little specific. Let me know the nitty gritty of what you guys think. I want to get into what you guys are thinking for the college football playoff. But Brandon,